Hey everybody, how do you celebrate 50 years of your favorite movie? What can you do and show and share that's a collection of stuff that covers 50 years of love for a movie that has finally reached this major epic anniversary? What do you share? What do you share? What do you show people? Well, in the case of this, what I thought I'd do was just lay out some of the things that mean something to me. You're listening in the background, by the way, to this score of Jaws, which is 25 years old now. And this one, which is 50 years old, not the CD, but the compilations. I've got my lone autograph, the Richard Dreyfuss autograph. I've got various stills that are made famous by the movie. I've got the Bibles of the era when it came out. Those of us kids when Jaws was first out, the making of the movie, Edith Blake's book, and of course the Jaws log by Carl Gottlieb. Those were the Bibles at the time. We were nuts with those books. And there were magazines. There were magazines, these shark magazines, that would come out and show killer shots of the shark. See if I have anything like that. Like this stuff. Then have that in the magazine, in the shark magazine, and call it a real shark attack. And it was like, yeah, okay. But we loved it because you could grab these magazines and you get stills from the movie. You get cool stills. So, and by the way, these cheesy cartoons that are under here, yours truly drew those. Those are 50 years old. I like this Brody. I came up with my own Jaws 3. This is probably 78. And I was doing shark attacks and Brody and Hooper. And cheesy. With color pencils and pens. Those silly little old shark things. Like Brody begging to live with the shark and the shark. I was trying to be my own Mad Magazine. I was just cheesy, man. You gotta love 14-year-old humor. But it's all just a gathering. I mean, these images just became, in my era when I was a child, the only thing that was like movie tie-in stuff was like Famous Monsters magazine. There were magazines with stills and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of book, having a binder, like this, see the ragged edges of this? Those old school binders that you had strings in that were like scrapbooks. Well, that's what this was. These are the remaining pages of probably what was 50 pages of scrapbook that's lost now. So, I want to show you one of my prized possessions. One of the things that matters to me more than anything else. It's one of the things that if there was a fire, it'd be like, what would I grab, throw out the window? Well, this right here, this binder right here. Now, this is a modern binder. Yeah, get a load of this. Binders like they're a big deal. The restored binder of Jaws, a record of the film and pictures and cards. And yes, I was lucky enough to snag some cards, much less cool stills. We open it. It's got a nice little spacer. Now this is where it gets funny. You got John. I like my still, even though that's a 25-year-old computer grab. Not nearly as nice as what they have now. And some cool logos and things. I found cool stuff online back then. A record of the film and cards and pictures compiled by Les Walker, 1975, 2001. 24 years ago. This binder is that old, and I keep updating it since. And it's page after page of stuff like this. Yeah, it's like I made these pages. You go in the cage goes in the water, you go in the water, shark's in the water. Our shark. And I'd clean the stuff out, make it like a real shark. And now, over 26 years in the making, the definitive binder. Like binders. We're out there. Well, they were for me. I've got stills. I've got reference to Robert Matty there. And, who I spoke to twice in 1978. That's Mr. Matty there. I think I tell a story about that in my first model kit video that I did. If you go and look in my lineup, the really nice open side shark model, I told this story there. The Boys of Summer 75. There you go. Yeah, I got these things from God knows where. Back then, I gathered tickets from various times I've seen the movie, ads, cheesy autograph copies, stills, lobby card reprints. I actually had the lobby card of this one, and that one. God knows where they are now. God knows where they are now. Actual autograph, Carl Gottlieb himself, to Les Lunch. A buddy of mine, Wes Matisha, who's still a great Jaws fan, got that autograph for me, and I put it with that image and put it in the binder. And I've got this Joe Alves, Joe Alves. How do you pronounce your name, Joe? I've never known, but I love that still. You got Bruce going there. He's in progress. And then this is, wouldn't it be great to have that original? This is a copy, of course. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, and Steven Spielberg, all on one autograph. Whoever owns the original of that is a badass. But this is a copy, and I'm glad to have it. Now we look at my card set. Check this out. Somebody took it upon themselves a few years ago to lay out cards, widescreen Jaws cards. The ones they didn't do, I did. I just took frame grabs and made the frames. And it's cards, man. Cards. I mean, you don't think this stuff wouldn't sell? I mean, a 50th anniversary set of Jaws cards. For God's sakes, look at these. Look at this. The movie, the movie. I always liked photo books, too. Back then, when you couldn't get DVD in movies, they had photo books. They had movie cards. They had stills. That's all there was back then. The world is so different now, and you can watch the movie on your phone. Now it's in your hand, but back then it was a dream. You had to have stills. I've got a whole. Look at this. Whoever laid these out, I don't know who it was. You did a great job, and I'm so glad to have something. They're not real. There's not a back. There's not a backside. But look at those stills, and they look and feel like they even have little captions. You ever had one do this before? Look at this stuff. Yes. One of my favorite stills of Bruce from the movie ever. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I made my own for the few that they didn't make. The last line in the movie. A few credit cards there that show titling. My little stocking feet at the floor. I mean, these were just the Bruce shots. I was making cards and stills and things left and right back then. Just loving doing this, making my binder, So let's look at a few other things here real quick. Let's get past some making on movie cards they did. Some other stills I grabbed. Robert Matty again. There's the man, Robert Matty. So we got through this. Yes, it's a big binder. And then we get to the official binder, the one that's the dedication to the old scrapbook. The Binder Reborn, the film and pictures. I mean, these stills were hard to come by back then. I do a thing of Spielberg, who he was. I cover the Benchley and Gottlieb, the writers. And then I do the shark. And I love this. This is always my favorite page. The shark. Says the real reason there's a binder. I mean, it's a great movie, but come on, it's a shark. And I also think West, even back then, he had a website called the Shark Eyes website. West is partly responsible for the attention that the junkyard shark got and why it's in a museum right now, hanging, beautifully restored. West was on that thing. He took me to see it when I went to LA in 2006. Check this out. That's a reprint of the photo from Christian Science Monitor, the first photo of a shark in any publication, and the article itself that was from. I went crazy. I just went crazy. Page after page. Look at this illustration. That's a West classic right there. Cutaway of the shark. And it goes on and on and on. On and on and on. I break down the movie. I talk about, look at these shots. Yeah, people going to see the shark before it was painted. Look at that. Yeah, ask me how I got that, West. West. Yes, I mean, how they made it, how they made the movie. On and on and on and on and on. Page after page after page of this stuff. I love this. Is one of my favorites. Richie Helmer there with the shark from the. So I could go on and on, but this is my celebration. This is how I'm going to celebrate the 50th anniversary, is remembering 50 years ago, remembering who I was, 14-year-old kid that was just glad to be there, glad to see a movie that I loved so much. And 50 years later, it's still my favorite movie. Look at that, old Todd McFarlane getting involved. I mean, this stuff was awesome, man. It was so fun. It was so fun. Got to show you this one. There's me in a mouth of one I made when I talked to Robert Maddy. There's one of my sharks there. But that's me in my foam and metal mouth. In fact, I'll leave it on that. Silly ass kid. That's actually years later. I never finished it. It got ruined and I never finished it. But here's the article on how I did it, and there I am out there with it. It got destroyed and we had to toss it, and it was sad. This is an article I wrote about it. But I'm going to leave you on that. That's part of 50 years, and there's so much more. This binder has more stuff in it. But 50 years celebrating a movie I love dearly and always will. Thanks for going on this little ride with me. I hope you enjoyed these little snippets. Maybe sometime in the future I'll have a chance to really show this book off, because the cards alone are awesome. But y'all take care. Enjoy the anniversary. Go see the movie again. If you can't see it in the theater, play the video, the DVD, whatever you got to do. Celebrate Jaws at 50. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. And remember, there's a whole bunch more of us out there now that love it than there were. And it's a great, great brotherhood, sisterhood of fans. And it's still, to me, my favorite movie. So take care, and we'll see you next time.